Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Welcome to my monthly video on the best games coming to retail. Every month I pick about 20 games that are coming to stores near you to feature in this video. Sometimes they're not coming to stores near you, they're coming to the internet near you, which is always near you. The internet is always there. I gotta tell you though, boy am I ready for the global shipping industry to get figured out. I say that because every month I do these videos with the best available information, and every month the shipping industry messes it up and something is delayed. Okay, so like for instance, last month I said that Wormholes was coming out from AEG, and about a day after that video came out, I got an email from AEG being like, it's delayed. Now it comes out in August. Bummer. And so, you know, if you see a game in this that doesn't actually come out to retail, rest assured that it will be coming out to retail soon. Sometimes they get delayed, but they are coming to retail very soon. Hopefully this month. This is the best available information. This is coming straight from publishers who say, no, it's coming out to retail this month. So if it doesn't, blame the shipping containers, okay? Don't blame me, blame the shipping containers. So these are the best games coming to retail in the month of July 2022. 25th Century Games is releasing Cryptid Cafe. In this game, you are working as a server at the Cryptid Cafe, which is a Sasquatch-owned restaurant. So in the game, you are trying to get food orders, fulfill food orders, and score points by completing food orders. But the, restaurant is full of legendary creatures, kind of the things of myth and legend. So I love the artwork in this game. It's vibrant, it's fun, it's silly. So, if you like a game where you have to fulfill sort of orders, then this is a good one. You'll be competing with other players, though. It is a competitive game, so you are trying to serve customers quickest, and food stations are breaking and spaces are limited, so it will get messed up. It is a 1 to 5 player game, 30 to 60 minutes playtime. Backspindle Games is releasing Lucha Wars. This is a dice-chucking game based on Lucha Libre, which, if you don't know, is the Mexican professional wrestling where they wear cool masks and there's characters and there's backstories, but you don't actually learn about the real-life people that much. They are characters that they create, and it's very fun. I actually got a chance to go to watch some Lucha Libre fights in Mexico City, and it was so memorable and great. So this is a dice-chucking game, but it's not just dice in the game. There is an actual wrestling ring, which is very fun. There are character standees. There's other stuff going on. But in the end, you are rolling dice and then using what comes up to throw moves and pin your opponents and do combos and stuff like that. It is a 2 to 8 player game and plays in 15 to 45 minutes. So if you like dice chucking and you want a unique theme with your dice chucking, then check out Lucha Wars. BA Games is releasing Cult of the Deep, and I did have a chance to play this one at a convention a few months ago. And what I would say about Cult of the Deep is it is a hidden role game, but it has some of the most strategy I've ever seen in a hidden role game. A lot of hidden role games are party games, light, silly games. This is a hidden role game that has some meat to it. So if you like hidden role games, then I definitely recommend this one. It plays 4 to 8 players, and you are playing as a cult. You're playing as cultists from hidden factions, and you're fighting for control of the cult and ultimate power. So you have one of 4 roles. You can either be the high priest, which your goal is to root out corruption in the cult. You can be a Kabbalist, where you are trying to seek to take control of the cult and kill the high priest. You can be a faithful, which you are trying to protect the high priest from threats, or you can be a heretic and burn the whole cult to the ground and be the last person standing. It's more than just a party game because there are dice, there are special abilities, there are one-time special abilities that you can use. You are placing dice out. One of the cool things that the publisher said to me, which I thought was an interesting thing, is they said, this is a hidden role game for people who aren't good at lying because you can let the dice lie for you. You can put dice in place and let the dice do the heavy lifting. So, that's like if you're not good at lying but you want to play a hidden role game, well, let the dice do the work for you. So that is Cult of the Deep from BA Games. All right, we have Big Potato is releasing the party game Sounds Fishy. In Sounds Fishy, we got a lot of high player count games here, I'm just realizing. Sounds Fishy plays 4 to 10 players, so this is the month where you get all your friends together, all right? Get them all together and play these high player count games. Sounds Fishy, 4 to 10 players, 30-minute playtime. What it is, the game, it's a party game full of strange questions and even stranger answers. There will be a question that comes up and everybody gives answers. Well, most of the answers are false, but one of them is true. And when it is your turn, you are trying to root out the false answers. You are trying to figure out which answers are false. If you hit the one that's true, well, your turn ends and you lose your points. So you're trying to figure out what is a lie. The questions are always kind of weird questions like what is it illegal to fall asleep doing in South Dakota? And then there will be answers like riding a horse and stuff like that. So if you want like a funny party game of silly answers where you're trying to figure out who's lying to you and who's telling the truth, well then Sounds Fishy sounds like a fun one to me. Doesn't sound fishy, sounds fun, Fishy. Sounds fishy, you'd be skeptical. I'm not skeptical. I'm excited to play that one. Not skeptical at all. All right, Capstone Games is releasing Catherine, the Cities of Tsarina. I don't know if I said that right. Tsarina? Tsarina. Probably the T's silent. Tsarina, the Catherine, the Cities of Tsarina. This is a 2 to 4 player game. Takes place in about 60 minutes. In the game, you're playing as players of the Tsarist Empire of 1762, trying to gain the favor of Catherine, who is the ruler of the kingdom. And one of the things they say about this game is that it has an innovative card mechanism. You will continually find yourself in the dilemma of choosing to use your card for its action or use it to activate your other cards. So cards can do different things and you are trying to use the right kind of ability in the right moment. So there's a lot of timing in the game, right? Can you do the right thing at the right time? And in the end, Catherine will decide whom she will place her trust. They say it's a fast-paced game, so I like that. You got to be clever to use your cards in the right way, and you only get 12 actions available for the game, so every decision is very important. It is a tight game. So that is Catherine, Cities of the Tsarina. All right. Flat River Group is releasing multiple games to retail this month. A couple of kind of strategy games and then one silly party game. So in the strategy game department, we have Garden Nation is coming out from Flat River Group. You are trying to build, you are playing as tiny people building a city in an abandoned garden. So, beautiful artwork sort of stuff. And one of the cool things is there's a three-dimensional aspect to the game, because as you are building your buildings, you are literally putting pieces on top of other pieces before you then put a roof and cap your building. So yeah, you can do, and I thought one of the other interesting things about this one is you can either build buildings or you can abandon buildings. To build buildings, you are giving up points, but abandoning buildings, you are getting points back. So there's definitely a push and pull of what you want to do there. There definitely is some take that in this game. People can come around and steal the spots that you've been building a building. They can essentially kick your building off and replace your building with their own pieces. So you have to be okay with some, cutthroat area control aspects to it. So there is an art of war, they say, in the game. So you got to decide who will play, and you got to decide who will play after you and where they will have to go. So, and it's not just area control, you're also trying to complete these objective cards, these project cards with your building, so you can score points by getting certain things in certain places, that sort of stuff. And it's got a cool garden-y look to it, It's most gardening games are like, light and nice and beautiful and pretty and peaceful and calm. And this is a garden game where you're like, no, this is war. I'm killing you. I'm destroying your building. I'm taking this garden for myself, So do you want a garden game where you can be a little more cutthroat? Then check out Guarded Nation. Flat River Group is also releasing Nicodemus. This is a two-player only game, so if you're looking for a two-player only game, here is a good one. It plays in 45 to 60 minutes. Nicodemus Gideon is retiring, and you play as two assistants who are now facing each other in a duel to take over. You want that power. You want that top spot. Is it going to be you? One of the interesting things about this game is, it seems like it's fairly simple to learn, but has some meaty choices to it. There are essentially two major actions you can do on your turn. You can play a machine card from your hand to the device. They call it a bric-a-brac. You can play it to the device, and when you do that, you're going to be producing a resource. You're going to apply the effect of the machine. You're going to get some benefits. Or you can repair a piece of the machine, take it off, you score points, and then you place that piece in your workshop. So do you want to get some resources, or do you want to get some points? It is definitely a very whimsical, weird theme. The game takes place in the Imaginarium, and it's just sort of weird and wild, and you got to have a kooky sense of imagination to enjoy the art and the look of this game, because it is definitely kooky. All right, and then the party game that Flat River Group is releasing is called Soundbox. And so, Soundbox in the game, you are flipping over. They say they want to be in sort of the world of like Codenames, Just One, those types of games, but you're doing it all with sound in this one rather than with clues or words or things like that. So one player will flip over a bunch of words, and then other people will get a code that will tell them a specific word. Maybe the word is amusement park or concert or alien or something like that. It's a concept word, and then they have to get the guesser to guess the correct words, but only making sound effects for that thing. So, if the word was roller coaster ride, well, maybe my sound effect would be like tick 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 tick. Roller coaster, right? If my thing was alien, maybe I'd be like pew 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 pew. That's an alien taking over the world, dude. You got it. You're smart. So if you like the idea of making silly noises and trying to get people to guess certain clues with all noises, it sounds like a funny, silly time to me. That one also decently higher player count game, 4 to 7 players, plays in 30 to 45 minutes. Format Games is releasing a couple games to retail this month. One is Egg Slam, and I try to feature different types of games in this video. I want this video to have something for everybody. I want to talk about different types of retail releases. Egg Slam is a game for young kids. This was actually designed by a designer and his 5-year-old daughter. They designed it together, and they say it plays, as young as 3-year-olds. So if you're looking for a game for a young kid, well, Egg Slam seems like a fun party game for younger players. In the game, you are essentially showing different egg cards and then trying to figure out which colors those two combinations make. You have a red and a blue. Oh, whoever says purple first gets a point. So you are just trying to figure out what colors you're mixing the colors and figuring out what they make. And it's a silly, fast-paced, fun color mixing family game. So if you want something for that you can play with your young kids, well then check out Egg Slam. The other game that Format Games is releasing is a party trivia game. It is called So Right, It's Wrong. And one of the interesting things about this game, right, trivia games, it's hard to do something different, right? There's been a lot of trivia games, and what can you do other than answering questions? Well, I think people are figuring out some cool ways to make trivia games feel different. And this one, what they do different is that each question has 5 possible answers. So you're never going to play the same game twice because there are a bunch of different answers on the same cards. And you're not just answering the card, there are things that are going to change the way you have to answer it. Like, for instance, if the answer was Bob Marley, but then it landed on Flip It, I would have to say Marley Bob. If I said Bob Marley, I wouldn't actually win it. I wouldn't actually be correct. I have to flip the answer and say Marley Bob. Or, sometimes I might have to switch the letters. And so instead of saying Bob Marley's, I'd have to say Mob Barley or something like that. So, it's a trivia game that adds some silly aspects into it. Some just laugh moments, right? Where, oh, you didn't do it that silly way that this is making you do it. It just adds a little tricky layer of silly fun into the game. So that is So Wrong, It's Right. Funko Games is releasing to retail a Goofy movie. The full name is Disney, a Goofy Movie Game. So if you ever saw a Goofy movie, it was about the global superstar Powerline. And in this game, Powerline is back on tour, and you are trying to join Max and his other friends from the movie to go on a road trip to try to get to Los Angeles to see Powerline perform. So there is a big map of the United States, and on your turn, you're rolling dice, you're moving across maps, you're getting you're getting cards that are scrapbook moments that you can add to your scrapbook at the end of the game. So yeah, it's a light family game for sure, and it's all about collecting fun memories for your scrapbook on a road trip, and I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to. You just happen to be Disney cartoon characters in this version of it. Game Right is releasing the party game Chonky Donkey. I don't think I mentioned Disney A Goofy Movie is for 2 to 4 players. Chonky Donkey is for 3 to 8 players, another party game. Lots of party games this month. Feels like we're in like that summer blockbuster season where everybody just wants like light, fun games. Hey, we're all just hanging out at a barbecue. Let's play a silly game, sort of thing. The active player draws a card from the answer deck, reads it out loud, and each other player in turn chooses a question card from their hand and reads it, after which the active player must give their answer without laughing. So if they can manage to do it without laughing, they will get cards and points, but if they break, no dice for them, meaning no points for them. So, if you're trying to make somebody laugh and stuff like that, it's a silly party game. I mean, Chonky Donkey is a pretty fun name, I'll say that. You can really get me with a silly rhyme. It's hard to ignore a silly rhyme, right? Chonky Donkey. I just want to say that in the mirror. I'm going to be walking out of my house. Chonky Donkey. Chonky Donkey. Oh, God, that's dumb. All right. Giochi Uniti through Asmodee is releasing Farmerstein. This is sort of a take on Frankenstein, but a very silly version of it. So they admit one thing we all know to be true: the life of a farmer is tough. You got to wake up at dawn, you got to do real hard work all day long. And in this, some farmers have grown tired of their life as a farmer, and they've decided to, instead of being a farmer, they'll follow the legacy of Dr. Farmerstein and devote themselves to conquering the world. So we're done with farming. Instead, we're conquering the world. They have a large number of potions and mutagenic agents. They are capable of giving life to plants and build a fearsome and large plant army. So you are taking your plant army out into the world to conquer that said world. So yeah, you're a mad scientist, and your goal is to conquer 3 continents: America, Europe, and Asia. And to do this, you need to combine your vegetables and chemicals in the order required by target cards. The game involves a lot of twisted interactions between players, but with one huge problem in common: the invasion of zombie zucchini, creatures so out of control that nobody can stop them. So if the zombie zucchini comes in play, you guys are all dead, all right? Yeah, this is a 3 to 5 player game, takes place in 20 minutes. If you like a silly theme, which I do, then check out Farmerstein. All right, Genius Games is releasing Ion. If you don't know anything about Genius Games, their whole MO, their whole platform, is they are making educational games that aren't overtly educational. They are good games. They are fun games to play, but you also learn something while you play them. Most of their games are centered around sort of science learning, but not every single one of them. And in Ion is no different than most of their games. It is a compound building game. It is a card drafting set collection game, but the goal is you are selecting from a number of available Ion cards and noble gas cards with the objective of forming either neutrally charged compounds or sets of stable noble gases. So you are going to learn how gases work in this game. You are going to learn how different things combine to create positive or negative charges and compounds and stuff like that. So, you know, it is still, like I said, a good game of card drafting and set collection, but it has a specific reason that you're playing it. So if, you know, I think this is like really great for people in high school and stuff like that, right? Let's learn something but have fun while we're doing it. I wish school was always like that, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, this is an opportunity to do. It's a 2 to 7 players, 30-minute playtime. Ion, a compound building game. Okay, Grand Gamers Guild is releasing Forgotten Depths. This is a dungeon crawling adventure with unique puzzle mechanisms. It plays 1 to 3 players and plays in 1 to 2 hours. In the game, it's a cooperative dungeon adventure game, but one of the interesting things is you do 2 things. There are 2 main activities. There are exploring and encountering. And in exploring, you are creating the layout of the level of the dungeon you are in by laying tiles down and building out the dungeon. So the game's always going to be different, right? You're not going to be laying it out the same way every time you play. And while you lay out stuff, you're going to be discovering ecology elements. And then you can choose when and where to encounter the elements you discovered, right? You can keep exploring, or you can stop and say, no, I want to experience this encounter. I want to figure out what this thing is all about. And then after you do the encountering, you go right back to exploring. So it's kind of an interesting dungeon crawl that way. And, I will say this is a lighter dungeon crawl in the sense that, some dungeon crawl games are fairly complex games. This is only a little over a 2 on BGG's complexity rating scale, so there aren't that many dungeon crawl games that are a little bit lighter in nature. So while I wouldn't call it just like a light game, it is certainly lighter than most dungeon crawling adventure games. So yeah, that is Forgotten Depths from Grand Gamers Guild. All right, next up we have Framework from Pegasus Spiele. This is a game by Uwe Rosenberg, who famous game designer, a lot of great games. I'm sure a lot of you know that name when I say it. This is an abstract tile laying game. So it's all about frames and colors. You are cleverly placing tiles, and the way you place them can complete tasks that are printed in the center of those actual tiles. And when you complete tasks, you get to place one of your tokens on that task, and whoever places all of their tokens, their 22 tokens first, wins. So it's all about, it's a thinky game of cleverly placing tiles and figuring out how to complete patterns and tasks and stuff like that. So if you like tile laying games, if you like thinky tile laying games, this seems like a good one. It is 1 to 4 players and plays in 30 minutes. And one of the other interesting things that I liked about this is with skillful placement of your tiles, you can create chain reactions. You can trigger so that several tasks get completed at multiple times, and you're putting out multiple of your tokens on one turn. So I love combo. I love cascading combos, right? When you can do, this gets me this, and this does this, and then this does this. It just makes you feel it makes me feel like a superpower. You know what I mean? A superhero. I'll never know what it feels like to fly, but I will know what it feels like to build beautiful cascading combo effects that make you feel like you're king of the world. All right? Yeah. Pretzel Games is releasing Yak. This is a 2 to 4 player game, 30 to 60 minutes. You are building a great and colorful stone tower to guide yaks in the Himalayas. One of the things that immediately stands out about this game is the production value. It just looks so cool. There are actual yaks in the game, that look awesome. You are moving yaks around a mountain in a circular fashion, but yaks can get confused by heavy fog and go in the wrong direction and stuff like that. And really, what you're ended up doing is you're loading your yaks' carts up with different things like food, and then you're trading that food in for stones, and then you're using stones to build a stone tower to get you points. When a game looks as cool as this one does, it's hard for me not to get excited about it. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for sweet production value, So this one looks really cool, and I like the idea of moving yaks in a circle, and then sometimes they get confused and go in the wrong direction and stuff. That sounds fun to me. The Op is releasing 2 games to retail this month. One is Disney Smash Up. So if you haven't played Smash Up before, it is a shuffle building game where it's a light area control game where there are some areas out and you have your own faction. So you are playing as a specific faction of characters or people, and every faction is going to be different in terms of the way it plays, the special abilities, all that sort of stuff. So you're playing cards down to try to control a location. Well, this is the first Disney themed version of Smash Up, I believe. There are a lot of versions of it, but this one, the characters you can play as are from Frozen, Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph, The Lion King, Mulan, Aladdin, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and Beauty and the Beast. So if you want a card playing area control game, one of the most fun things about Smash Up as well is that you can mix and match different Smash Ups. You can, I could play, do you want to see what The Nightmare Before Christmas is against, Marvel? Yeah, how's Jack Skellington going to hold up against Marvel characters. You can do that. Do you want to see Beauty and the Beast versus zombies? You can do that too. You can mix and match stuff and see what comes out on top. The op is also releasing Marvel Dice Throne this month to retail. So Dice Throne is it was originally meant as a two-player game, but you can play in teams and play more than two players. But it is a dice rolling combat game. I'm fighting you, you're fighting me, sort of thing. If we do it in teams with more players, it's team versus team. And in the game, you are just rolling a bunch of dice and getting a lot of cool special abilities and using special abilities to affect dice and the other player and all that sort of stuff. So this is another game where the production value is incredible. It's really, really fun. In the past, the last versions of Marvel Dice Throne weren't based on any IPs. They weren't based on any characters you know. This is Marvel Dice Throne, so the characters you can play as are Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Loki, Thor, Doctor Strange, and Miles Morales, Spider-Man. So I think they did a cool job of picking some of the most beloved ones and then picking ones that maybe aren't as well known or aren't as popular. I like that they did that. They included different types of characters in the game. So if you like dice roll and combat, then check out Marvel Dice Throne. Lastly, I have Gift of Tulips from Weird Giraffe Games. This is a card game, a small box card game, but one of the things I really like about it is that you are drawing a card from this area, but you can either put the card in front of you to get points, or you can also give it to other players, which also can earn you points in different ways. So there are actually incentives to give things away. There's not that many games that do that. You know, this is that sort of light, pretty card game where we're all just, being friends, but also, it's competitive. I'm trying to beat you, but I'm trying to be friends with you while we're doing it, And it is very pretty. All these tulip art cards, very vibrant colors, peaceful, calm, that sort of stuff. But I like that drafting mechanism where you can keep it or you can give it away. This is a 2 to 6 player game, plays in 20 minutes, and like I said, it's a small box game, so this is one you can travel with, easily take anywhere with you. So that's what I got. Those are 20 of the best games coming to retail in July 2022. I'll tell you, August is going to be a doozy. There are a lot of things coming out in August. Gen Con happens in August, and that is the largest board game tabletop gaming convention in North America. So a lot of stuff gets released there and then comes out to retail shortly after it. So be prepared for a lot of things to be coming out in the next couple of months, but don't skip over these ones. A lot of these games look really fun to me. I hope they look fun to you. Thank you so much for joining this video. I appreciate all the likes and subscribes, and share this with your friends. If you know somebody else that wants to go out and get a game now instead of waiting for a year for a game to get fulfilled through Kickstarter, these games are now. These games are now. Thank you so much. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex.